closer.
And welcome to the Hall Priest Universe. I'm King HP. This is Dora, and we're here to talk about from season 3, episode 4
And then predictions
prediction
for episode 5 kind of thing.
5. So definitely looking forward to this. This has been a long
4
time in the
weeks
making.
now. We got it after 5, guys.
Yeah, that's
There's still
we
5
but
episodes
we're
left,
here.
right? We still got
I
enough
believe
time.
so. I believe so.
I'll
I
check
think what we
IM.
could do though too is do like a revisit and get new viewers or people who are new to From and like recap all the episodes almost maybe or something like that.
Yeah,
Might be able to do that.
we'll start
So
that. We got idea. We got a few weeks still with this one. And I mean, whenever they start filming for the next season, we still got lots of time because they do 2 years, right? A year and
yes.
a half, two.
So it's definitely I can't wait. I can't wait. And we're
Why can't they do
here.
like Abbott Elementary? They get these seasons out during fall, winter, all of them. Oh, maybe that's why it's snowing this season to go into fall and winter. That makes sense too.
I would love to see how this is going to continue with the snow. Is it going to get worse? Is it going to get like
Is it
to where
gonna
they're just like, oh,
blizzard? Is it like okay?
that
Oh,
would
maybe
be
because
crazy.
I don't remember what episode it was, but remember there was a drawing of a snow globe and the city
There
was
was.
in there. Remember? So maybe someone shook the globe type of thing, and they're like, "It's time to snow."
I definitely am definitely excited to see where they're gonna go with this.
Yes.
And episode 4
Uh-huh.
was crazy. What how do you want to do? Do you want to start from the beginning, kind of walk through the episode?
Yeah,
What were
just
overall
I
thoughts?
don't know, maybe the parts we like the most from the episodes, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like it would be confusing.
Okay.
But I mean, because I
We can
mean, it
start.
starts with them at the tree, with the crows coming right away, and Tabitha's like, "Oh no, I'm scared." We're back at the tree. That's when she realizes I might have fucked up, guys. You know,
Do, do you think she should think like that? Like you're back, yes, you are back in Fromville, but like you have something that no one else is aware of. Like you got out.
I don't know, because then it begs the question, like, did they get hit by the car too soon? Like, was she supposed to make it to the tree? Was she was like she talks about it like more towards the end of the episode, like, was there something else I was supposed to do while I was outside of this place besides come back? Because obviously they were always going to bring her back, whatever this Fromville is, they were going to suck her back in somehow because she can only be gone so long. Or it could be that they didn't notice she was gone until that moment. They're like, oh, we got to go get her back real quick. And it just happened to have, Victor's dad, Henry, with her.
I definitely think that they got hit too soon. But I wonder, is it like destiny? Like, was that always designed to happen? If she wouldn't have got hit by that truck, she'd have been on her way some other way, and something was always going to stop it. Like, do you think that that was just,
That's what I'm
how do you
thinking. Like, do they only let you get so far, or is it just that's when the from people notice that, oh, you're getting too close. We gotta mess it up because we can't have you too early figuring this stuff out.
I think she messed up. I think she
I
caused it,
think
but I
she
think it
messed
was
up too.
always destined because the she saw the boy in white outside of the town, like out in town. So they were monitoring her.
But that's why I'm thinking, like, what if the little boy is the good kind of section of it? He's like, I don't want to say he's good, like the kids are good. They're obviously some kind of sinister, or they would be seen by everybody. You know what I mean? Because how do you get selected to see these little baby children all tore up
They're
inside?
definitely sinister. The mom was selected though too. We learned, and the mom was seeing all this prior.
Well, because I'm wondering if, because I was watching back other seasons too. So when Victor and Tabitha were in the cave, remember when they got to the luggage, there was a wedding dress in the luggage. Do you think that was a kind of a future thing to Ellis and Fatima getting married? Or was it maybe that whoever gets picked, like if you get picked as the woman, like how Victor's mom got picked, you're marrying the entity or whatever the head entity of the monsters is, type of thing.
So that's a very interesting prospect because I feel like there's been cycles,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of from going back to where Boyd had the bottle and he went in. I don't remember the year, so if someone watching knows it, please put it in there on any of the platforms. We're live on Facebook, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter's got a little problem right now because we ain't got the premium, but it's
Yeah,
coming.
we're
Trust
a
me.
little. We just
And
started, guys. We just started.
we're also live on Instagram, so to go ahead and hit the share, hit the notification bell, and definitely tap in. But I don't. I think it could have been a. You know what's wild? It's like, yeah, it could be a premonition of what's to come because Fatima and Ellis are gonna get married, but maybe this happens in every cycle. Maybe there's a Fatima and Ellis in every type of cycle where two people fall in love and they get to that point where they think, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it premonition or you guys always, you know what I
Doing the
mean?
same
Like,
thing. Like everyone always makes the same mistakes, kind of thing.
right,
That would make
right.
sense too, actually, because it does start to get kind of repetitive. Like, how do they always fall into whatever the world, whatever Fromville world is? Like, how are they falling into the order of exactly what From is pushing them to do?
Mm.
Does that make sense? I don't know if I worded that
That does
correctly.
make sense. I just think that's a very cold thing. I think the way From operates, it's like a maze. It's like it's like a experiment, the rat race, right? They know where to they want to lead you.
Oh,
You only
oh.
get so many choices. And if you were to make a choice that they couldn't manipulate, then they'll do something like, "Hey, change the board." And then
Oh,
and then the situation changes.
that makes sense because that would make sense why Jim and the family just blew up everything that they were doing, type of thing. Because remember, there was kind of a little order before Jim and his family got there. It was like, I don't want to call it the sex house, but like they had the young house and then they had like the family kind of village area for everybody. So it was kind of like they had gotten into a little, just a little kind of not a predictable lifestyle, but they were conforming to what the monsters wanted them to do. Like, we want to just scare you every night. We want to just type of thing. If that,
Mm.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they literally were just, these people are listening to us now like it's little minions. Our little minions are doing, like, we can move them however we want. They didn't have any kids at the time either, right? They had a few in the families, but
They had yeah.
because maybe they were using the little girl too. We don't know too much about that family because obviously they got slaughtered, but maybe they were using the little girl for something at some point. But since that family, the husband went crazy and killed everybody, they needed a replacement family, which was like Jim and his family, for the sacrifice purposes. Because
Ah.
I'm thinking, because Ethan's literally the only kid there. Like, there's no other children, and I'm assuming even before they got there was no other children except that little family that had the little girl. Like, maybe they were a failed experiment almost.
Potentially, possibly.
Yes.
Um, I also think okay, so this is gonna get crazier and crazier.
Yes.
Um, because again, when you talk about From and us not knowing, and shout out to Deadly Seven, Trez Deadly Seven. The show is hooking us away from the best question we had. What is this place? Is it controlled from someone? Is it magic? You did say ignore that last sentence, but I gotta read it. The paid
Mhm.
that paid people money to have an experiment. I think it's beyond. I think it's beyond that. And what I mean is, um, we found out on episode 4. We still haven't really even gotten to the recap
Yeah,
part.
we
That's how
haven't.
good this.
Yeah.
Um, Episode 4, they asked about the GPS, right? Now, as they were driving in. So I don't remember if that was before the tree or after the tree. But at some point, by the time you see the tree, there's nothing, like you're screwed.
You're scrambled.
You're
Everything's
screwed.
gone. Like a
Everything's
concrete wall
scrambled.
almost, like they do in schools. Like they cut you off from everything.
Yes. Now, if you go back to season 1, don't quote me on the episode. I almost want to say it's 1, but it's 1 or 2. Julie goes with Fatima upstairs. She tells her, she gets like, she's trying to calm her down because it's her first night in the community, and the community house essentially. Um, and she tells her, "Don't look down." She's trying to look at the view, right? 'Cause she shows her some paintings that Ellis has done. She says, "Don't look down, look out." And they look out, and you can see it. It's beautiful, the moon, the forest, but then you
Mhm.
can see out, and guess what? There's like no city. Like there's like nothing ever around. There's nothing. So I think you're almost in a new dimension. You're almost in a place that's like off grid, off world, parallel universe
You
because
think it's a dome
there's nothing around.
situation? That's why they can't see past where it's like, was it like the Simpsons when they put them in the dome where you can't see out of the dome but you can only see what's in? Like I think that's what most dome, like most traveling time traveling shows, what they do is they put you in a dome and you don't know that that's just a screen, like a projecting kind of thing that they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's it could be that too. We just don't see the dome, but you're right because it's like it's so they she could see out for miles.
Yeah,
We didn't
exactly.
see
And
nothing,
that's only
not a
that was
single
only a
building.
two-story house, right? That's a two-story.
2 story, maybe it was 3, but I think it might have been 2. We see all on Instagram what's going on. The Archie Carter, what up? What up? What up? The Daddy Hunter Ashley, we see y'all. We see y'all running through all technical problems
Yes.
too, and
Okay, but that like I guess that's what I'm confused. Okay, because I'll bring it back to Tabitha. Tabitha's gone. She got pushed out of the lighthouse. Now she's back. And yeah, she has a little bit more knowledge than everybody, but she really doesn't have anything more that anyone didn't know. Because obviously, at some point, Victor saw the pictures that his mom had painted before in the basement. I'm assuming that's why he has comfort in the basement 2 area of the home, because when they were back in their regular world, the mom, when she was going crazy or whatever, when they were on the acid and stuff, um, Henry and her, like maybe that's why he has a comfort, because he would watch her paint. He would watch her do all these things and she would still do them when they were in Fromville type of thing, to like as comforts for themselves even.
I definitely think that could be a legitimate thing because you're trapped in that world, and
Mm-hmm.
that is a way of definitely probably getting some solace or like,
Yeah.
let me just watch you paint, especially if it's good paintings. Because Ellis be painting some
Yeah.
stuff,
You
and
saw
no,
his
no
clothes.
Ellis. Yeah, his you said his clothes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super fire thing. Like Ellis has like hints and clues on him,
Mm-hmm.
so definitely something to look for. But we got to get to episode 4.
Yes.
We still got to get
Okay.
to episode 5. But we got to get through episode 4.
I'm just gonna get to
But you
Ethan,
already
but yeah, after obviously when they leave the scene of the paramedics and Tabitha coming into the town, they cut to Ethan looking at the drawings of Victor that Victor had drawn. And then they have, of course, Thomas call on the phone. And you know how I feel about Ethan. I have no kind words about Ethan because I hate him and I need him gone. So
that's crazy.
because why would he
Archie
answer
Carter
the
in the
phone?
chat.
He's never done any inclination. He's never done anything right to me. So it's whatever. But like him answering the
Lack
phone
of
and
home
telling me,
training.
huh?
Lack of home training. Jim's when I was a kid, my grandma used to say, "Don't you answer that phone." They ain't never
Don't
tell him
open
that,
those
you
doors
know.
that you've opened 4 times, 5 million times already. Goodness gracious, Ethan. But
The
yeah, no.
Archie Carter's in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Attitude Era podcast, you know what I'm saying? The co-host over there, go check that out on all streaming platforms. But he said Victor's when Victor sees his dad, you know, it's gonna be wild, and either Victor leaves or his dad stays. Hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like there's so many different, like maybe these. Okay, because I had looked online. So from in Scottish, I think they said means fae. So if these are like fairy monsters that are trying to take over bodies, that would make sense. Unless they're also another theory is the vampires, which I kind of agree with because they can't be during the day, and fairies can be up any hour because they can what is it transform into whatever type of thing.
I
And
also think too, this is a small theory too. So Victor, so in episode 4, I guess we are going to kind of skip around a
yes,
little
we'll
bit. In
jump
episode
around. Yes.
4, Victor's dad is explained. Was it episode 4? Yeah, did he? No, it's episode
No, it's
3.
three.
He
Yeah.
explained to Tabitha that him and his wife took acid by this tree, and that's where it all started. Once they took this
Mhm.
tab of acid, they started tripping and blah 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 blah. And then from that point forward, she always saw stuff. Right? Victor went to work that day and didn't go with his family wherever they were going. I truly feel Victor's dad, obviously, he's a big piece to this because on the outside world, his wife was drawing pictures of things she would later see inside that world. But he was always supposed to go. I think you once you get selected by these from entities, this whatever, and somehow almost like Final Destination, Victor's dad missed out on it.
Mhm.
And I think they were always trying to get him back. He's a big part to this. Um, and we'll find out. Maybe it's a lineage thing where it's followed his lineage all the way through. Because how do you just take acid on the outside world and it brings you in the from?
That's what I'm confused about too. Like, do they always pick a family type of thing with the young person? Like, it doesn't boy or girl. Because remember, like I said, they had first season they had that family with the little girl. That was the only child. It seems they only ever have one child at a time in the village or in the Fromville world.
Well, remember, Victor it was him and his sister.
But his
So
sister
that was
was like
two.
teenage, kind of like how Julie
Oh,
is
she was
teenage,
older.
right? Wasn't she like a little bit older
Um,
type of thing?
don't quote me. I think she was older, but I don't want to say she was much older. I would think she was older than Victor. I got a whole nother theory about her too. Ooh.
Yeah, okay,
The
okay.
theories.
Let's try. Okay, because I feel like with Thomas calling them, like Thomas was a baby when he passed, so that's why I think Ethan is so confused by the call because he's like, "How were you calling me? You were a baby when you passed," type of thing. Because they said the baby fell off the table or whatever, and stuff like that. So I think this is the first time I've seen Ethan like process something correctly. I'll give him credit for that. Where when he took the call, he was like, "This is weird. Like my brain's messed up." And when they were like, "Oh, they're not your kids anymore," type of thing. That's why I was telling
That
you.
was
I think
crazy.
Ethan was the first one. I think he might have died in that car accident, and that's why he had a seizure and all of that because that's when they took him was that moment, but he didn't know. Maybe they didn't do it like through the cicadas like they did with Randall and with Julie because that would be too intense for him because he's a child. So what if they just took him? Because like I also noticed, Ethan has not had a lot of color, even in his clothes. He's been getting lighter and lighter and lighter and whiter, almost like death as the episodes have gone forward. Ever since that episode. So what if that's when they took him? That's why when Thomas calls and Jim answers finally before he pulls the phone off the wall, he's like, "Oh, these aren't your kids anymore," because they already have Julie with the cicadas. Her brain's messed up, obviously. They got her. But with Ethan, maybe that's why he's such a little poop and can't process things correctly because he's just in that world already. Because he's so in between both of them and doesn't know.
I think Ethan's crazy. Uh, it's like that could be legit too, because like he's the only person I think at this point that got serious. Like he's definitely the only person I know that got seriously hurt. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Boy too. Boy got shot, but Boy was already
He has
infected
the
with the
blood in
burn.
him still, I'm assuming, from the old man.
I don't think he has it in him. I don't
Mhm.
know because they are definitely keeping him alive. And I mean, he's also the only one. He's as many kills like Fromville has a better record than the set than the '96 Bulls. Like, forget 72 and 10. They got like 1,000 to 1 loss, and the only loss that we know that they got is when Boyd killed that one, and he said, "My blood is your blood."
Yeah.
Killed him. But I think he transferred it all, and it sucks because they thought that when they got the bile at him, I wish that would have did something for him. Like, even if it would have hit the monsters and the monsters would have, like,
Mhm.
just slowed down a little bit or something. But it was like, dang, y'all ain't got that didn't do nothing. Bunch of y'all dip bullets and piss, and it,
I think he's their favorite person to pick on, kind of thing. Even that's why when I'm gonna hop around, but I think it has to be something because unless they see Boyd as one of them, I just feel like he still has the blood in him because they're giving him choices that they're not giving anyone else to make. Not I don't think it's just because he's the leader of, the little town, sheriff, whatever, but they don't approach him the same way that they used to, where they're kind of like trying to kill him. It's more like they're playing with him now. And they seem to only do that with each other, kind of thing. Like the monsters, like there's kind of like a hierarchy, I feel. There has to be a hierarchy because remember in the caves also there was two different people. There was like a red person and a white person on the cave wall
yeah.
paintings.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
so maybe the white people, I don't want to say the white figure, but the white figures may be all the dead
White
fey
figures, thank you,
vampire
that's what
creatures
came
and
up.
the red are the human type of things portion of that. But I feel like they just with Boyd, why would they give him the option? Like that must have been another test to see because they've been giving Boyd all these tests, obviously, and he's been, I would say, failing them in the monster's eyes because he's not choosing the path that they're trying to get him down, which is like, you know,
Okay.
killing the other people in the town, like making him have to put everyone else at risk, and then like making him make choices of who is the better people he should be picking on top of everything, if that makes sense.
I'm with you. I think, but I do think they picked Boyd because Boyd has, technically speaking, I said one victory. Boyd has several victories. Boyd is the one who found the animals. Boyd is the one who found the talismans. Boyd is the one who destroyed the box and stopped the possession of several people in the town. And then Boyd called them out, as well as Boyd getting a kill on the Smiley one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got that kill. So Boyd, I think he's the town hope. And I think his wife,
Mhm.
when she was reincarnated back for that one scene, was saying, "These things feed on your hope." And it's like, that's the guy. We got to get him. But don't kill him. It won't be any fun. Because then you can wipe the town. You kill
Yeah.
Boyd, you wipe that town
Yeah,
easily.
then they would all just get boring and start doing whatever the monsters wanted type of thing. Or it would be
Yeah.
a full town panic where maybe they all would kill each other. Because then we also see that, with Victor talking about when he's with Sarah under his shady little self shading Sarah, like, oh, my mom and my dad and my sister, got killed, but I didn't kill him. Like, you killed your brother. Just saying.
He was wild for saying that.
And
I'm
then he was
happy
like,
he
you're the
did.
scariest person I know. So obviously, like with Victor remembering that everyone got slaughtered in the town, was it that the monsters got them? Was it that Christopher got them? Was it that they somehow all ended up attacking each other at some point and then the monsters just ate from their bodies? Because they only eat their insides. So
Right.
maybe. I don't know. I'm so torn by this episode because so much happened. Like, I do not feel like they shouldn't have got. I feel like they went too hard on Officer Acosta. Like, what was she supposed to do besides shoot around? She didn't know yet. They didn't get to have a welcome, like they did with everybody else, where they're like, hey, let's just prepare them. She literally just got thrown in the middle of the night. No one, I don't think any of them have come in the middle of the night before, right? In any of the episodes, they've all been during the
Yes.
day where they
Um,
prepare almost. You muted yourself.
so Boyd came in and close tonight with his fan. No, not Boyd. Jim. No,
Okay.
who?
Yeah, it was
No,
them because they only had like 40
it was
minutes left
Boyd.
for the light.
Yeah, Boyd did come in because Father Kachi was the one who greeted him. Um,
Okay.
and him and his wife was there. Some people, Donna came in at night. Donna made a mention they got there at night, and that's how
Oh,
her
okay.
sister died. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
Donna,
okay, okay. I hadn't heard. Yeah, I don't remember Donna's portion. That makes a lot of sense because that's where my
yeah, I
confusion
don't
was.
think you
Was
ever.
yeah, how many times? Because I don't think they've showed or any of them. They don't talk because they don't do town meetings anymore. How many of them actually came in at night where they couldn't get prepared? You kind of just got thrown into the situation of these people coming at you, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh hey. Because let me tell you, that monster laying on the floor, she tore them up. It was like Peter Griffin on the floor when he gets, knocked down with his little arms everywhere. And then boom, she woke up and killed them. They didn't like, they had no idea that was coming. Well, I mean,
yeah,
Tabitha
and
did
that's
tell them. So
that even goes to talk about how the monsters are evolving because now they're setting traps for you.
I don't
Um,
think they're evolving. I think they were genuinely always this smart, but like until Jim and the family got there, they didn't get to use they didn't have to trick them like this. If that, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to put in this effort to trick them because they were literally like, "Oh no, we got to hide in the houses. Get in the house. Get in the house." Like with the talisman because you had, like I said, you get prepared to come into the town during the day. When you get there, you obviously circle around a few times in the little area till you're like, why do I keep ending up in this town? So then when you stop, that's when you get prepared. So they didn't have to mess with them too much because they're like, oh, they're inside kind of thing
right.
already. We can just poke at them like little fish bowls, like little animals in their little traps type of thing.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely work. Going back to what you said about Officer Acosta getting,
Hmm.
I think that's just the spur of the moment. If you think about how, I don't remember that guy's name in episode one. He let his family get killed. He got drunk
Oh
and he
yeah.
didn't nail down his windows. Boy went hard on him. Boy was like,
Oh yeah. Put him in the box.
yeah, Box, you let your family die. Your man's supposed to protect his family. Like, bro, his family is slaughtered. The wife he loved, the kid, you know what I'm saying? And that's the
I
first
just
thing you say
don't.
to his man.
I don't know. I don't feel like they should have gone that hard because what was Nikki? What was Nikki doing in the show? She was not a main character. She had yelled at Fatima for taking too long in the restroom. Like, what really? What? That's why I don't understand. Like, I understand they were close with her, but I don't think it should have been. I guess the breaking point. Like, I don't understand why that was the person that was the breaking point. Is it just because they don't know about Randall or they all hate Randall that much? Kind of thing. Because I just don't get
So
why Nikki was so devastating. Is it just because she died in front of everybody? So it was like a breaking point for everybody. Just, oh my gosh, someone died.
I think it could be a little bit. I think man, I think I I think they gotta ease up on these deaths too. Like not like the town like how you're treating people. Boy went super ham on Acosta. That
Yeah.
might get somebody killed. Because like you guys have experienced a lot of deaths. I know Jim is the problem with his family because they had I think 96 days straight with no incidents.
Mm-hmm.
None.
They were going
That thing said
strong until the virus
and
of
it's
the
been
Jim family came. They're a fucking virus, bro.
Victor was eating peaches every day.
Hmm.
He said, we're running low on peaches. Next thing you know, we're out of peaches. Like, Victor, what's the expiration date on them cans?
Doesn't matter. They were good.
We're content. So I think that they gotta, even though it's emotional and it's tragic, because you're stuck with these people, you love them, you gotta be cautious of how you're talking to people because all it takes is for another sour to leave a door open. You know what? Screw y'all. I'm done.
Hmm.
Leave it open. You get wiped. And that's why the colony house, I couldn't do it. You, matter
No,
of
I
fact, where were
understand.
you? Where would you stay? Me and you were going on a road trip. We end up, the tree is out. We already know what time it is.
I'm taking the house where them pet family just got slaughtered. What? It's set up already for me. There's a little blood we gotta clean up. What's a little blood if we're stuck in town that we're gonna get murdered in? Maybe, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. I agree. I agree. I would definitely choose a solo house. I'm not sticking in the colony house and then hell no, hell
No,
no.
there's
And
so
we
much
sharing
that
everything
goes
too.
on. Yeah. I just feel like when the bus people came to, like, I've liked none of the bus people that came in on the bus. Randall, I was a little sad for him, you know. It took me a little bit to understand his character, but he's just one of those people that, you know, in the real world where you gotta be in it. You gotta suffer yourself before you're like, we gotta fix this. You know, you get to be the crazy person. Like him and
Yeah,
Jade
I'm with
right
you on
now
that.
are the ones that are seeing the most stuff, I feel. Because Randall, like he said, he's on that bus. He learned their habits. He learned that that lady just comes and bothers him and stands at the window and picks on him for a little while. Like he's seen their habits, and that's probably why they picked him too. Like he's already figured out too much about their emotions. No one was trying to figure out how they operated until Jim and them got there either. They were just kind of
Um,
conforming in
I
a
don't
way.
know. I don't know. I think Boyd was because Boyd was the one who wanted to go in the forest. Boyd was the one who, I mean, he found the talisman, he found the food, he journeyed into the forest and got, I mean, he went the furthest. Well, no, Tabitha's now gone the furthest, but behind her, he's in second. He's seen the lighthouse, which is going to be interesting tomorrow night. What's going to come out of this? We still ain't even recap all of four.
So, do you think Jim and his family aren't a virus? They're more of a rehashing of hope for everybody because it made Boyd want to do more, type of thing.
I think his family is a problem. We knew that season one when they said that's only like the second time I think two cars came because the last time two Victor said the last time two cars came it was no good. So two cars came. Now with this Jim's family being a virus, they are very close. I don't know if they're a parasite virus or they're like if you get on their back they can strengthen the community. And the reason I say that, Jim
Mm,
was talking about the radio antenna for to speak out, right? Nobody was thinking like that. Now, again, that lack of communication. What was you digging for, bro? Why would you want to find out where these wires go? You
yeah.
tripping, Jim? What? What? You come on, bro.
He was,
You.
what did they say? He was building theme parks before. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's clicking to him that shit isn't real. Like something's off from this. Like,
Well, remember they were writing on the walls their theories, so they were doing open communication
oh, I
at
see
one
what you're
point, good
saying.
communication with the family, putting their questions on a wall, but they have since deviated. They're digging. They have no fear of anything. And the reason I say that, remember Tabitha went back to the house to go dig while they were gonna go talk on the phone, and no one's telling nobody nothing. Let me tell you something. At my job,
Yeah.
there's a spot in the back where it's like woods and whatnot. I'm a safety guy, right? Let me tell you something. Before I even try to walk back there, hey y'all, if I ain't back in 15 minutes, this is where I was at, blah, 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 blah. Because there
Mhm.
be animals and all that. I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? I get locked off and I got my blade and
Yeah.
everything. Everything is with me before I do it. And my phone is full. I ain't even going back there if my phone less than 20%. I ain't getting bit and then dying as I'm crawling because something came out and
Hmm.
no, hell no.
Yeah, because then you get
I'm not
like
dropping.
Christy, yeah, like Christy and Kenny and Jade in the cabin. Then you're stuck there because you
Yeah.
can't leave. Which where now that I'm thinking in this episode, they had Kenny, Jade, and Christy in a house. What happened to the bald guy and the black lady that were there? Are they in a different house of the little
Hold up.
things?
Hold up. What?
Because remember, okay, because episode 3, remember when he was like, just go pick the berries, Christy, type of thing? There was Jade, Christy, Kenny, I don't remember those two bus people were there, the black lady and then the bald dude. They weren't in the same hut as Kenny, Christy, and
No, there's multiple huts out there.
So they're just in, but that's why I'm confused. Like, what's going on with those two?
Oh, nothing. They're just there to be killed.
I hope so,
That's why I
because I
don't have
don't like
speaking
that
lines.
bald man. That bald man is bothering me.
When
I like,
here's the problem. When you start speaking,
that's what I'm saying. The bus guy, I'm kind of ready for him to be gone because the bus people are just so panicky to me. Like, that's why they're just weird to me because they came in on a panic. Like, they knew they
well,
weren't.
Randall, they should have. They should have. Check this out. They came in at the worst time because the bus people came in and they just got this whole storm, wiped food.
Yeah.
A house fell on Jim and what they thought was his wife, but she was really in the tunnels. And Victor popped up down there talking about, "Come help,"
Let's go take
like,
a walk. Yeah.
yeah, Victor was wilding. Um, so with that being said, the bus people get there. You trying to take their guns. I don't know you. I can't get out of this town. Donna shoots the tire, but we can't have guns.
That's why
You
I'm
just
wondering, was the bus just to get Elgin there, who's seen everything, and this is just to add like the mob chaos mentality? Was everyone else on the bus?
well, there's got to be some links because remember Marielle came there too, and that's
Christie's
what's her name?
Christie's girl. Christy.
Christie's girl.
Yeah.
And then you had Randall on there who took the moths to the face, or the
Yeah.
caterpillars, or the cicadas,
The
or
cicadas, yeah.
whatever, right? So, every, and then the black lady hasn't. She's got a couple speaking lines here and there, but not like that old bald dude. He didn't come on that. He was already there, but I think his time is about coming because he done got into it with Jade and last
Yeah,
episode
and
they
Jade's their Christopher technically with
yeah.
Jasper, which was interesting as well. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm confused why Victor thought that there would be something for Christopher that wasn't Jasper in the luggage that would make him remember everything.
I don't know. That
Because Jade's only on and off seeing Jasper, and then I don't know if you notice, but we're jumping around again. But like when the kimono lady calls Elgin to the hallway and she's pointing, I need you to like help me. If you look like to the bottom of the screen on the right, there's a TV and it's Jasper's on the TV talking. Almost. You didn't see that part?
oh,
Yeah,
I
you
gotta
gotta pause. It's like one of those things where you
rewind.
have to pause. Yeah, when you rewatch it, pause. When they show Elgin again before the big dude passes behind him, they show like that you can see a TV screen and it has Jasper on the TV screen. So that's what I'm wondering, is the kimono lady Fatima in the future? Is she someone that's been there before? Is she someone that's locked in, like, in the tower right now? That's why she looks like she's getting
Come on,
sucked up.
lady.
Hmm?
So there's some interesting points, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to free the children. It's like there's multiple things going on. You got Tabitha getting to free the children. That ended up getting her out of town, bringing back Victor's dad, coincidentally, and some
Mm-hmm.
new people. Then you have the kimono lady. We don't know what the tie in there is at all.
Mm-mm.
But she tried to drown Ethan. Well, I don't know if she tried to drown Ethan, but she submerged him in water. And in episode 4, he was made to follow her, and he kind of didn't finish following her because he got
Was
interrupted.
what that I had seen someone say, maybe it was like a mishap kind of thing where maybe the cicadas, whatever, like the Fromville monsters were trying to drown Elgin, but actually the kimono lady's the one that saved him. That's why she was pulling him out, not actually holding him down.
But those are different time periods. When he goes to drown, the cicadas aren't there at the time to take out those people. So it's like different time.
But
Like
they're also not
if they would have
supposed to
been
be asleep. You know what I mean? So they're getting him while he's sleeping, technically, because he might have fallen asleep in the tub, almost kind of situation. Because you know how you get relaxed and all that in the tub.
I think these things are all the way different. And I want to say it's so far different that it could have a tie-in to the people like who are in the huts out getting the food because that stick figure is like a shrunken head, whatever. Now it bears semblance with the crosses, whatever, to the markings on the talisman.
Yes.
Which brings me to a theory I was talking about earlier. I said I got a theory.
Hmm.
Episode 4, you hear a person rustling around again. You hear something rustling around the house.
Hmm.
When
The cabins. Yeah, yeah,
when Kenny and Jim stayed out there, the same thing. He even messed with the talisman a little bit. But one thing that I noticed in both instances, whatever was wrestling around out there did not try to get in. It did not. It never. When the monsters are at the house, they're like knocking on the window, they're talking. Even going back to when they were on the RV, they're running around it. They're like, yo, they're doing mad stuff,
yeah. Hmm.
calling out to you using different voice. Never happened yet to those people who stayed out there. So here's my theory: those things are some form of talisman, some form of it. Maybe the markings on it, because and oh boy pulled that stick out, Jade. And we're gonna get to that in a minute. But
Hmm.
the thing that's rustling around out there is Eloise. This is
The
why I say
sister.
that. Victor's mom was shown on camera dead,
Yeah.
with her thing ripped out,
Yeah.
but not,
Typical death. Yeah.
yeah, the typical standard monster killing, but not the sister. Victor has alluded to her being dead, but in TV film, we know if we don't see it, it may not be what you think. So I think that person, she found that area. There's been food, there's water, and she has no talisman, but she's safe from the monsters because I think whatever that thing is protects them, that barrier of some sort, like a talisman. It keeps people out. Episode 4, or episode 4, oh boy said, well, Randall tried to put the talisman up like a Power Ranger. He was
Oh, and they laughed at
morphin time,
him.
you know, he
Like,
was like a
that's not how
Voltron.
that works, silly. Like, what are you
Yeah, and that's what they
crazy?
told him.
Yeah.
He,
He was
yo,
really like a Power Ranger. He thought he was doing something.
somebody hit the music. Somebody got to make that a gift. Like, go, go, Power. My
Cause
man is
yeah,
in it.
cause that was shocking. Because this whole time they've been thinking, as long as I have this talisman around me, I should be okay. And that's the first time us seeing it doesn't work.
That's how he thought. Because boy knows you got to hang it and it can't fall. It
Yeah,
can't fall. That's another thing too. And I thought, but Randall, he's never been around them this whole time. Since day one, he's been living in that bus by himself,
yeah.
solo. He's got a talisman hanging up, but no one to talk to. No one talks to that dude. So he don't really know. He tried to, he thought
Hmm.
Zordon, come on, bro. She told him, the monster told him that's not how it works, which is a crazy thing to say because, like, so the monsters know how it works?
That's what I'm telling you. Like, I think I don't think they're evolving like people are saying. I think they've always known how to do this. They just didn't have to do it because the people in the town were somewhat conforming to just letting them pick on them. And then when, everyone else got there, Jim got there, Boyd started getting more let's go adventure, like Jim and his family, that fucking virus family. All of them started doing all kinds of weird shit that they weren't supposed to be doing. It woke the monsters up. Like, we got to get rid of these people, or we got to use them to our advantage. Or maybe they even sped up what was supposed to happen, like, with our theory that everyone's going in a motion, or they're always going in a cycle. So maybe they just getting there, they sped up the cycle in a sense. Like, oh, they're doing too much. We got to slow them down a little bit. Because it seems like they're slowing them down. Because, like, okay, that gets us to when they're cleaning up the house, and they're like, I'm not picking up that crow, and that girl starts going in on Tilly, like, why would you read the tarot cards? Like, the town is stopping them from doing certain things to gain too much knowledge of what's occurring. Because imagine if she had flipped the card over, whatever it is, like, and it was a death card. And I don't know if it's upside down or whatever type of thing. I'm not too good. I don't remember. I don't know tarot cards. So I just know when the death card is one way, it means death. When the death card is another way, it means something else. So what if it had been some kind of card? Because we never got to see these cards now. I think she's going to use them again because, like, there's no way. Tilly's she's a little old, a little stubborn. And she was already mentioning to Elgin, like, Fatima's a little weird. You know what I mean? Like it was weird what's going on. She didn't exactly say what Fatima was doing because she's kind of keeping it private because none of them ever talk about what they actually see. So she's obviously confused, and I think she's going to use the cards again and see something that she's not supposed to. Because the town is obviously stopping them from learning. Like, I definitely think the town, like, once they think you're about to get too close, they fuck it up. Like with Tabitha, she was about to get to that tree and they rammed her with Henry in the car, collateral damage, which was like a two birds, one stone, I'm assuming, moment for them.
I think it's gonna be crazy when they do get to that point because I do think that Tabitha got too close and they were gonna make sure she always came back no matter what. Even if she would have got to the tree, they were gonna make sure that she would have ended up back there no matter what. And I think with that being said, um, Tabitha, I think I think they wanted Victor's dad. I think this is I don't think she ever had a choice of what, like, they would have always directed her there. And if not, they would have just brought her back. So her coming back with new people, two of them are already dead. Um, the cop and the other paramedic. No, it was two paramedics. I'm sorry.
Well, they're obviously slaughtered
Um,
though. They got put in the fucking dirt. Tore up.
and that's what makes it kind of like upsetting that at least one of them could have survived. The first one when he got, yo, I would have took off running. I wouldn't even went out there. I'd have been like, what are you talking about? We got to go save it. Okay, let's say we listen to you. What's gonna happen? And sure enough, I would have found out. Like, oh my goodness.
Because that cop, it was her instinct kicked in to start killing people and start shooting around.
Well, I would have did the same thing. She would. I mean, you got to. Yo, what? I just watched this thing rip a throat, and then the one
Mm-hmm.
it stayed in freak form. Like, oh no 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 no
Mm-hmm.
no, that is not human. And the lady just told me this. We
Mm-hmm.
gonna get killed if you go out there. You don't understand. Blah 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 blah. How? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm shooting. And there's no effect. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, because even when the officer Acosta, when she started running towards the house, they weren't even chasing her still. Like it was like they were just playing with her to get her to the house, and then that's when they kind of cut back to Boyd and Jim and all of them in the ambulance to show us, where they gave Boyd the key. Like, do you want to save Jim and his family, or you want Randall? Because we really want Randall. Really like Randall right now. So
I think I think the issue with Randall. So getting back to the episode 4 part, because we will go.
we're chopping
Um,
it up though. Yeah, we're chopping
we're
into
definitely
different
chopping it
pieces.
up.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through it. At one point at the end, right? Boyd's faced with a decision. He's faced with a crazy decision because they go to free Tabitha.
Mm-hmm.
Now they knew Tabitha was coming back. Not they, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim knew this because his son was told by Thomas on the phone.
Which fucking Ethan opened the door a third time. All right, third time. No.
So they said, Mom's coming back on the ambulance. We need our help. So when the ambulance pops up, oh, everybody goes out there for it because one, it's nighttime too. It's deep nighttime, and Jim sees it's his wife, which is crazy because think about what Ethan told him. So he like, so now you got to think: is these entities trying to help or hurt? Because you told me it's Thomas. I know my son died. Thomas talked to my living son and gave him information that allowed us to help her. She was handcuffed to the joint. She wasn't going nowhere.
She was gonna be done for if they got in the
She was
ambulance.
done. And then Boyd trying to get the keys because the EMT had him and he got murked. So the monsters ended up with the keys. And then he was like, can't save them all. You're looking for these? Blah blah blah. Like they asked for Randall specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Randall was having another panic attack with the cicadas thing, and they surrounded him while he was on the ground.
But they didn't attack
What
him at all.
they
That's
didn't
what
attack him.
that's what I'm confused. That's why I think there's a hierarchy type of thing. Like whatever monster is the cicada monster, they're higher up than these monsters here, because whenever those cicadas are going to work on these people, they're not bothering them. They're just standing there watching, like, is it our turn to eat yet, type of thing. Like, you done
Yeah.
bothering them? So I don't know, though. It was just such a busy episode too. Like, there was so many stories going on and clicking, and just, I don't know, just it was a lot. It was a lot. Because definitely I agree with you that they made Boyd make that decision, and that killed him.
Well, I don't killed who, because I don't think old
That,
boy
no,
is
that
dead.
killed him, like, on the inside. You know what I mean? Like, it really had to make a choice. Like, am I a community person, or am I a, you know what I mean? Like, save the better individual? Because I feel like Randall, or pretty much it's like pick the community or pick death. Because if he had gone to try and save Randall, he definitely would have gotten murked. Like, he would have been just like those EMTs dead if he hadn't taken those keys. And everyone else would have died in the ambulance because Boyd didn't take the keys to save everybody to drive him back up to the house.
It's, you know, it's funny. I don't remember him really talking about Randall when he got in the house.
Yeah, he
Like, he
does.
wasn't like, man.
It's when Donna breaks down and they go into the room and he's like, oh, or when they go into that small, when he gets there, him and Donna go into, like, it's right before the girl gets shot, I think, right? Or right after, where where they calm down everybody, type of thing. I know he goes into the kitchen with Donna and he's like, Donna, they made me pick and I had to leave Randall. And that's kind of what, like, confuses Donna to where she breaks almost, because that's when she's like,
Oh
oh my
yeah, she
gosh,
did.
Randall's dead. Nikki just got shot. Like, that's when I think her break starts, was when they were in the kitchen. And then when
Yeah.
Nikki
So now that you
finally,
say
yeah,
that,
when Nikki finally dies, and Boyd starts, ooh, why would you do that? Like, throwing her around and, like, stuff like that. That's when Donna eventually breaks, and they go upstairs, and she's like, oh, I'm done. Why does this keep happening?
I definitely think that with Boyd having that choice, and we see family fromly, Randall ain't dead. Randall's laid out on the hood of the ambulance for all to see, and he is damaged, bad, but not dead, on purpose. Is it a trap? Is it? Are we kind of going into predictions? All right, at this point.
I guess we can start predictions. Yeah, I would say it's prediction time, because, yeah, we're definitely more towards that's the end of the episode, is them seeing Randall.
Oh, then we gotta switch it up, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all
Yes.
know what it is. We gotta just see y'all see y'all on the next from y'all see y'all
Mm-hmm.
see where we're at with this one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness. Um, I think it's a. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a trap. I think they just want to. I mean, they made a point to say, "You said we couldn't break you, Boyd." They didn't offer nobody else that choice. Jim
Mm-mm.
was out there. They ain't talked to Jim.
They don't care about Jim. Jim's that whole family's in their own little world, destroying everybody's world because they don't want to admit they're all trash. Just trash, just a bunch of evil trash up there, doing stupid, making stupid decisions, like keeping private stories, like, oh, we got to keep it in the family. No, we don't, Jim. Like, you're literally costing this whole town lives because you're
I
not
do
saying
feel like
nothing. Yeah, Julie's not saying nothing. Ethan's over here opening the doors for the fucking goat to get saved. Like, come on, Ethan. How many times? Mm-mm.
yeah, man. Ethan don't believe stuff stink until you know what I'm saying. He don't
But
believe what is it, fat meat greasy? That's what they say, right? So I guess he'll learn, you know. Um,
but also with
hey, shout out to you.
Randall, I would say, is that their way of creating doubt towards Randall from everyone else in the town? Like, almost like they make him pick favorites, and for some reason he's always picked to save Jim and his family. If you notice through this, since Jim got there, it's always been them saving their family, everyone else kind of dying behind them because everyone's choosing to try and take care of them now.
I think we're gonna find out in episode 5 where I think if Randall gets saved, it's gonna be some smoke in the city because someone's gonna have to tell him that Boyd chose Tabitha over you. That's how it'll get put to him anyway. Even though, bro, you were surrounded by them demon things. There was no saving you, bro.
Here, let me
She
see
wasn't.
episode 5 because on IMDb, I think they have like episode like summaries type of thing.
Yeah, they did. I think the summary is out where it talks about Boyd's leadership. And again, I don't think I think it's a problem, but it's a evolved problem. It was
Okay.
always meant to get to this point because the monsters are forcing people to have to like Tabitha coming back. Boy, what you gonna want to do? Take him to the tree. But the real thing is, if you leave it at the tree, we got to see how this is going to shape up in episode 5. If you leave it at the tree, you are leading people to death because the tree is not what got you. The tree got you to the tower because you were trying to save the children. Children. Now this is what needs to come out. I see children. Like what? Okay, who else sees stuff? I see this. I see that. Well, who doesn't see stuff? Okay, how about this? If you don't see nothing,
You're not
you go
important.
on this side of the tower. You
Yeah.
go. You go on this side of the Anyone who has visions, we need to see what you see. If you hear people talking to you, we need to hear who you hear.
Mhm.
Go on this side of the diner. And let's start putting this thing together because you guys have been chosen by here. Because Tabitha got out because she was trying to do something that the
That the kids
place
wanted.
wanted.
Yeah, that's why it's
The
hard to
kids.
distinguish like which of these monsters is good and which of these is bad because it says the episode's going to be called The Light of Day, and it says the summary is Victor must face a painful reminder of his past. Julie looks for ways to cope with her trauma. Boyd struggles to keep the town safe as the residents begin to question his judgment. And then Tabitha tries to adjust to her new surroundings. I guess that's what it says the plot is.
I can see that being back to Trez Deadly Seven. Will you guys watch episode 5 in the stream? It'll be fun. I wonder why episode 5 is not in yet. Whatever they said it's on yeah, it does come on Sunday. I'm not gonna
It
say
said
what
like
time, but at
midnight
Sunday at
though.
9, Sunday at 9, that's the time where if you get on Twitter, the cast is in there
Mm-hmm.
from MGM is in there. And guess what? We gonna be here too, live. And hopefully you Twitter will be the Twitter premium will be reviewed
Hopefully, yeah.
and we will be live on all 4 streaming platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, live watching it with y'all tweeting um and seeing if the actors are talking. Harold Perrineau,
He's always
um,
on there on Sunday at 9. He live watches with everybody on Twitter. So I definitely
yeah,
love
we
he
see
responds too. He's responded a few times to me. And I think has he replied to you yet, Jerry? I think he has, right?
he
Yes.
has definitely liked, and I think he has reposted one or two
Yeah.
of mine
And then
now.
the front page
So he's like a
themselves.
3.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
front
they're
page
they're
from
out
on
there.
MGM, they also actively watch during that time too. So as
Elizabeth
a family.
Saunders, she plays Donna.
Hmm.
Ricky he plays Kenny. So we gonna have some people out here. Uh, Eon Bailey, he plays Jim Matthews. I got to look now because at this point, it's
Yeah.
so many of them. You
So
know,
it's a good
um,
time. So we'll definitely do 8 o'clock, Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for season 5.
yeah, absolutely,
Because I
and we
definitely,
will
I
definitely
feel like,
be.
yeah, because Victor, I don't know. So I feel like back to predictions, I'm wondering if they showed a little preview of Victor freaking out when they said his dad was there. And it almost seemed like
I
he was
would
going to
too.
say, my dad is dead,
I
kind
don't
of
know
thing.
why he would think that. I mean,
Because
maybe
he's
because of old
fucking like
age.
70.
Victor is a
Yeah,
whole man.
yeah, unless he's assuming his dad is dead.
Maybe, but it's like I don't even think he's assuming his dad is dead. He's like, what do you mean my dad is here? No one come like
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like more of a shock thing. Like, what do you mean
yeah,
my
like why
dad
would
is
my
here?
dad be here? My dad ain't here. My mom was here. I told y'all my mom was here. She died. My sister was here. She died. You're telling me my dad is here 40 years later?
Because it's almost like a regain of hope for him, but he's such a child in his brain that it just probably he's more gonna be startled by the dad being there because he's like, what the
And
fuck?
man, you just came to the worst place on earth.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to come out and get back to you type of thing.
Yeah, now you're here with me. Oh no, brother. This is not where you want to be. This is not no Bahamas. This is not Barbados. This is Fromville. And and
It might
that's
be a
sad too.
Yeah, it might be a fear for him too. Like, oh my gosh, the last person I had left is now stuck here with me too. Like when is his time kind of thing? When does Henry get taken from him now? Because Eloise got taken from him in his mind, even though, like you said, you think she's still alive. Like, I don't know. Unless Eloise was like I was telling you with the wedding dress, like what if Eloise, since the mom didn't make it, they made Eloise the bride? Because I feel like there has to be something because with Jade seeing all the people, like seeing in the last whatever in episode 3, seeing the guy with the thing through his eye, like obviously they're gonna have to touch on that because Jade's the Christopher. So whatever crazy stuff that Christopher was seeing, Jade's seeing all of it too. So they always pick someone that can see things. That's gonna not be like the crazy guy of the town, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because Jade's the crazy guy of the town. And
I
he was
think
the only
I
one who
think
came in not believing for real. He took days. I think he took like a week, right? A week or two to finally believe in it.
Jade, it was give or take. Give or take.
Because
Because
he
he
was over
was he
there
was having a
stealing
hard time.
bikes, riding around town. Like, this isn't real. What are you talking about? Even after he saw even after the monsters appeared, he was still like, this is a simulation. Something's not right.
Yeah, he even saw, let me see if I can get the name. Um
He saw Jasper already twice now, right? He saw the puppet. He's seen the puppet
he's
twice.
seen the puppet like twice. I'm just trying to think what was his, because he was in the car with his dude.
What was his name?
And
Tommy, Toby, something with a T. But even that was questionable because they were trying to figure out like what was wrong with him because he was swerving when they were driving into town. So were they drunk? Or
I
my
think
other
that,
theory is maybe he had to die because he saw the cicadas coming into town. You know what I
what you
mean?
mean? Hold on, wait.
Because you know how you maybe because they were saying when Jim came, you know how they got in the accident because they almost ran into them, but it was because the dude that was driving Jade, his friend, he was swerving. They weren't driving like normal. They were literally like chaotically driving. So what if he like kind of saw the bugs around him and he didn't know and that's why he was driving like that. That's how they tricked him and that's why he had to die. Because we don't really hear too much from him, right? Like he gets killed pretty quickly
Pretty,
into
yeah.
the pretty quickly into the whole situation.
Yeah, he got wiped.
And Jade
He
was
got wiped fast.
obviously drunk in the back seat or some kind of sleeping because he crawls out the back seat and Boyd handcuffs
And
him
he
to.
was high. He was high as hell.
Oh, he was
So
high.
very,
I
yeah,
thought he
yeah.
was drunk for some reason.
So yeah, I definitely believe that him and oh boy were definitely drunk. And then who killed him? Sarah.
Sarah was the murderer. You know what I mean? Sarah was
She
getting bodies
No one
down.
even talks about that. She took a body before her brother. I don't think no one knows. No one knows because I think she told her brother, but her brother did.
Oh,
She
because
killed
her
him.
brother's not the one. Yeah, I think that that's the one. That's the death that she opened the door for the monsters, right? Was his friend
Yeah.
where they're like, "Hey, open the door," type of thing, and leave the door
Yeah.
open, and it'll make it look like we killed him, not you.
But you know what's funny? If people really would have known, they'd have known that, like, wait a second, he wasn't opened up and split. His throat was slit and he bled out. Or
Mhm.
not slit, but it was like, in his jugular or whatever.
A
So
childish
that was
stab,
why.
not a real murder. That's Sarah. Murder, but not murder enough. But I think for sure it's gonna he's fine Victor's finding comfort in her because he thinks she's just this unfeeling being, even though she obviously has some kind of feelings, because it's kind of like she's scared of Victor, but she's not scared of Victor at the same time. Because then he also is like a brother figure to her, and he's like, she's his sister figure. Like, this is just replacements for those two positions in their family are each other, even if they're both weird.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that could be the case. Victor has every right to be scared of her, though.
Oh, yeah, for
She's
sure. Because, well, I don't know, because they both hear they have visions. Like all I would say all the people that are besties are the people who've traumatically been attacked by these people already. I think that's why the bus people none of them really understand like what the main characters are going through because they aren't getting put through the same thing. Like Nikki, that's why I said Nikki getting shot season episode 4 was weird to me that they would all be so like devastated because what was she doing? What was she to everybody?
ooh,
Nikki, the one that got shot by Officer Acosta.
she was just there's a vegetable herder at the colony house, I guess. Like she, they brought her up when she got into it with Fatima about the the bathroom. She had to brush her teeth or do whatever. Like she really wasn't, she's not a major player. And then
Yeah.
we saw her again. She was the one. Keep this in mind. Fatima could not get into that colony house because they always have the talismans up. Remember when she first got back to the house? I think it was episode 2 of season 3, and Ellis brought her back. Ellis said he was gonna go. She was like, "No, go with your dad." And she walked up. This is when she was eating the
Oh
the,
yeah,
the
the
food the first
fruit.
time we saw her. She went to that door and could not open it. Jiggled the handle, but she didn't jiggle it. It was tried to open it. She couldn't.
She got the demon
She,
baby. She's over there eating
she-
blood and stuff.
yeah,
Hopefully.
and then that same girl who she is eating on, well, she was licking her blood, but we can't call her a full blood cannibal yet. I don't think because we ain't seen her eat the flesh, but
This
I think we
episode,
might.
I think Ellis is gonna walk in on her eating the body or something. Cause there's no way she's getting out of that room and no one notices that there's no blood in fucking what's her name's body. You know what I mean?
I
Or
don't think she's
that
gonna eat the body. I think she's just gonna eat drink the blood of it,
but the hole's gonna
and
be
that'll
bigger.
be
That's what I'm saying. Like, how does she explain that to someone? Like, oh, I thought I saw a bug in her body, so I tore it open to drink, and she's gonna
that's
have
gonna be
blood all
crazy.
over her. I just don't know. That's one of the things that I think, or maybe even Tilly's gonna pop up again and catch her like eating the blood because Tilly seems to be the one that's catching Fatima do all this weird stuff, and like she seems to be the one that I don't want to say catching, but she's in her story somehow for some reason, Tilly. So maybe she's gonna eat Tilly, you think, in one of the episodes?
I think Tilly's safe for a little while. I think we're gonna find out there's some nasty, crazy story back for Tilly as well because she said those tarot cards showed her this stuff, and Tilly was the one who was excited when she got off that bus when she was like dancing
Because she'd been there
when she
before
came out.
though.
You think so?
That's why I don't know. They I know online they say like they feel like there might be a spy. I for a little bit thought it was Donna because Donna's like the calm like
You
person,
think
but
there's a spy for real?
yeah, there has to be some kind of monster person. I mean, if Fatima's over here with the baby demon in her, monster, whatever, and able to function around with everybody else, they have to have someone else that's functioning around with everybody else too. That's
Yeah,
why.
I don't buy it only because you remember Father Kotri, right?
Uh huh.
He buried a bag solo dolo, no one around, and the monsters knew. So I don't think they need a spy. They can, as long as it's happening within the sight of the where the crows can see, it can be seen. Because even in the darkest basement, when he got that call when they set up the phone, he was like, the thing called him on the phone with Donna, and Donna heard it.
Hmm.
What's your wife doing digging in that basement, Jim? Like, whoa, whoa, brother.
Oh yeah.
So they don't need a spy.
I
That's
guess
why
so.
I can't go with that theory because the monsters just know. They just if it happens in their city, oh, they know. They're omnipresent. Well, I'm not gonna say the monsters, but the force there knows, and then it feeds out the information to who
So are they,
it
do
may
you
need
think
to.
they're watching from the lighthouse area or from the tower,
I
wherever
think
the
the
tower's
birds.
at?
I think the birds. Birds just randomly fly through there, and it's always crows, which are symbols of death. When they were doing the tarot cards, the bird came in, like, because you couldn't send a monster during the day. What comes out
So
during
like
the
it's
day?
their familiars in a sense.
No, I think it's the birds because birds are out during the day. The crows aren't out at night. They're not nocturnal like that. Like they're out during the day and they're asleep
Oh,
at
I
night.
hadn't
But
noticed
at night,
that.
the monsters are out. And when they did the tarot cards, they were doing them during the day, and a bird crashed through. If they could have sent a monster, they would have, but they can't.
So they sent the birds.
They sent a bird. And when you first get into Fromville, all you see is birds.
So they start
All you see
watching
is
you
the
from
crows.
then. That's why I'm wondering, like, is there like how those they these I think the monsters that they're seeing have to be the lowest level of monster. Like they're just, I don't want to call them the muscle, but they're just some kind of thing that they send out to kind of feed. And you know how that's why I said like familiars, almost that the crows are familiars. Like maybe this is the only way those other, whatever this other level of stuff, because the cicadas come at night too. So the cicadas obviously are some kind of watching them also. So you know
I
with
don't know if we're
witches how
watching
they,
them.
yeah, or witches and wizards, or what is that one show? I can't remember that one movie my daughters used to watch where they can turn into animals. So what if it's these things turning into animals during the day? And that's like the first, not
But they're
layer.
not. Because remember, during the day, we've seen firsthand. Victor and Tabitha were down in the caves and they were down there, asleep.
But yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. What if
they're
there's
not turning.
another higher monster or whatever this is, another demon that's like a hierarchy type of level? Like there's the top demon or whatever they would be.
I just think the entity because Boyd's wife says they laughed at him. They were laughing, and I think, like you said, hierarchy. The monsters you see come out at night, they're like the low tier, but that's enough to rattle your cages. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Just like in the military, you know what I'm saying? You see soldiers like, oh my gosh, but there's a general somewhere, there's lieutenants somewhere, there's
Mhm.
captains somewhere, there's you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? There's commanders, like blah 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 blah, and there's a hierarchy. If you take out the general, you take out like we take out your commander in chief. It's the whole operation is we can shut everything down. At least here, you know. So in similarity, I do think it's birds slash if it's happening, every phone, it's like a wiretap. Every
Mm,
phone listens, every because the phones don't go to nothing. And a phone is a two, so Jim ripping it off the wall. I ain't got cords. And
yeah.
it could hear you talk. And as soon as Jim got to talking, it changed again.
Mhm.
It wasn't Thomas talking. It was a new voice saying
An old,
when
yeah,
whether
almost
or
like
not
an
you're
older
here.
boy talking. Still like a boy, but just like maybe like a teen boy instead of like the little boy. Because he had like,
Yeah, it wasn't Thomas.
yeah. Because they
It
definitely made
wasn't Thomas.
Thomas, when he talked to Ethan, have a smaller voice, like a, oh, hey, it's me type of thing. Like a cutesy kind of voice to get his attention, like another kid's voice to get him to trust.
Maybe the case. Yeah, it's gonna be some wild stuff. I just think the birds are a symbol of stuff because that birds in reality are a symbol of like death and blah blah blah. And it's so coincidental that a bird came crashing through during the day. The cicadas, I think we should watch them and who but they're only going after the same people they've been after. Julie, Randall. Who else was attacked by the cicadas?
Was it Muriel?
Mariel.
The one with the highlights. That's what I remember. She
Yeah,
had highlights.
girl's girlfriend.
Yeah. Then okay,
So
okay.
we should be watching them because they're. I don't think they're gonna get murked. I mean, they're playing with Randall, but the cicada. Okay, so let's look at the chain of events too. The old man was chained up the way we saw those same three chained up, screaming in agony. The
Mhm.
old man had been there forever. He had a marine tattoo and all that,
Mhm.
and he infected Boyd with something, worms. Boyd used those worms on the monster. The monster dies. They open up the body, they turn to cicadas.
Mm, mhm, mhm, mhm.
The cicadas go out. So they use the body as like a birth. Like you birthed this.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and the monsters were laughing at you about it. So it's like, because remember, old girl, not old girl, but like Boyd's wife post, she was telling him like, they used you to get that to town. So it's like, even though you were infected, you were never supposed to take it with you. Like you should have stayed where you were at, or and just died. And because the dude was trying to tell him like, like it's worse, like blah blah blah. And Randall mentioned that there's things here worse than death.
Mhm.
That dude had no food and water and was chained up. You can only survive with no food and water for like a week
But since he had
max.
the cicada eggs in him, he was able to survive that whole time in the dungeon.
Yeah, Lord knows how long. Like ooh, it's
So does that mean
crazy.
if like Randall, Julia, and Muriel, if anything happens to them, it'll just be more cicadas being born again?
See, we don't know because one thing they don't have is worms. Boyd had worms in them, and they needed to transform like butterfly effect. They needed to grow into the next stage, and they needed a demon monster to do it. And,
Oh,
and
so
Boyd
do
gave
you
it to
think
him.
that's why they took Randall? Because Randall's at the highest stage of where they can split him open and it can possibly birth some more cicadas? Because they have to have time to
Maybe,
grow, so maybe they're just growing inside of them.
or maybe the monster, the higher version of the monster, is can I can use you now because you have the cicadas. But so far, Randall's the only one who keeps seeing them.
Yeah, Julie, they haven't, well, they haven't said, they don't really
Yeah,
talk. So
yeah.
we don't know if Julie's still seeing that type
Maybe
of.
it's his attitude. Because the other two have like they're good people. They're very Randall's like defiant. I'll punch somebody in the face. He was ready to shoot. He's ready to hurt people. And maybe they're like, how they feed on hope. Maybe like, hey, him.
Oh, so that,
Be like
yes,
him.
that would make
Because he's
sense.
aggressive. He's very aggressive.
Very
So
aggressive.
it'll be interesting to see what episode 5 holds because Randall's on the front of that truck, ambulance. And
But
it's
do they
still
go
nighttime.
outside, do you think? Because they do show them walking to the pool. So what if they don't go back out there to try and save Randall type of thing? That's why I wonder who they're going to find in the pool. If it's going to be like the ambulance
I think
people
it's gonna
that
be
just,
Randall.
you think
I
it's,
think we've been misled to think it's that one dude who's like, "Take us to the tree," you know. I think
uh-huh.
it's a mislead because those trees do drop from anywhere. That rock came out the sky, but we ain't seen nobody just randomly fall. The little boy took it. Boy took it. Tabitha took it. No one fell out the sky. You got put somewhere. So why would just drop you in the pool?
Yeah.
That's
May,
crazy. It
unless
could
they
happen.
they pile the bodies type of thing, like the EMTs and then Randall, like all three of them. Or maybe they're gonna hang them up like they do the statues, because Jay did take that pipe down. What if they like kind of symbolize the dead bodies, like they hang them up on not crosses, but you cross.
I yeah, I think that could be a thing too, where they turn him into a like you said that like that thing is covering where they go out to get food.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be something with Randall that's at the pool where they're like, I think
So
that'll be what it is.
I don't see them going to try and save Randall, but I definitely could see that since they showed them in the diner finally having a town meeting type of thing, like maybe no one goes out to get Randall. The next day they find Randall in the pool. They decide to go to the town meeting, and that's when everyone starts their doubt towards Boyd in a sense, his leadership. Because why
Yeah,
would you
because
not tell us about the tree type of thing?
well, who knew about the tree?
Was it just Tabitha and Victor?
I think it's just Tabitha and Victor. Victor knew about the tree. Boy knew about a tree, but not that it get you out to the lighthouse.
Didn't he
Victor
go in the tree
specifically
to get
told
into the
Tabitha.
tower?
He said this specific bottle tree will get you to the tower. That's what my mother said. And that's where he found his mother years ago dead. So she didn't make it to the tree or she came out the tree or whatever, but she was dead, ripped open, on some Hulk Hogan. You know how that do.
So it was only Boyd, obviously Tabitha and Victor that have known about this tree that can take you
No,
somewhere
only
else.
Tabitha knows about the tower tree specifically. Boyd does know about trees
But
can
he only
take you
knows it
places.
takes you into that tower where he was at, and he got trapped and all that
That's
stuff.
his thought,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
also no, because old girl went into a tree and came out in a different spot. So he knows that because Kenny was the one who found Sarah in the basement.
Oh, well, at the same time, none of the new bus people know about any kind of trans movie, any kind of tree, because they've only been
Well,
there, what,
listen,
like 3 days?
nobody else knows about trees. No one else knows about trees. Sarah knows about a tree because she was the one that told Boyd, "I'm right behind you." Pushed him in the tree. He came in that
And then
cramped
Ken,
place.
because who went out when they went to the church, the area where they found the music box? It was Sarah, Kenny, or was that Jim? Am I wrong?
Sarah, Kenny,
And Boyd.
and Boyd.
So Kenny, like, I feel like only the main characters have known about the tree this whole time. That's why probably in the next episode, that bald dude that I don't like from the bus, or has he always been there? I can't remember. Whatever, that dude with the Danny DeVito hair, like thing, circle hair. That's why he probably gets so frustrated because, well, and the rest of the bus people, like when they stole Kenny's mom's stuff from her house, like that's the chaos part of all of this. Like I was telling you, like it's where a normal human would be like, let's go find this tree so we can get out of here, where the panic sets in for everybody. I feel anyway.
So you got any final predictions? What you think's gonna happen in episode 5?
I kind of just want Ethan to die. It's my prediction. I'm ready for the
Yeah,
sacrifice that's coming of Ethan. Just I
I'm
pray
ready
for
for
the
the
day.
sacrifice. That's fire. Um, I think we're going to be. I don't think Randall's gonna die. I think the monsters will take him off the hood, and then we're gonna see him in the pool in some form where they're like, "Oh my gosh, do we get him? Do we not get him?" And they're gonna try to go to the tree, but Tabitha's gonna stop people from going in a way because it's gonna come out that like if you got a vision or a reason to go, you may not end up where you think you're gonna end up. Like it's gonna get stopped. I think Randall is the thing for the pool. And if not Randall, someone else. Someone else. Maybe it's Fatima's body that she's been eating. They go to bury it, and the monsters may have dug it up and put it there. And
There's just too many bodies at this point that I'm confused. Like, who could be dead? Like, there's just too many. There's been too many deaths, so many stories. I just need to see this episode. They gotta drop two. I'm glad they're not dropping 2 a week. Very traditional, like, TV stuff, but still, I'm frustrated every week. And then Mr. Harold wants to tweet every Saturday, like, are you excited for Sunday? Harold, I just forgot that we have an episode the next day. And you're reminding me, riling me back up for the next day. Like, no.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But tomorrow night we will be
Yes.
live. Same way we are now, except maybe we'll be on Twitter too. I mean, that might be a thing, so definitely
Yes.
tap in. Um, but that's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got
I'm
too. I mean, it was a jump around, but we'll get better at this. We'll not so much
yeah,
excitement because that episode just was a lot. There was so much that
it was
had
a
to be
lot.
covered and so much backtrack we had to do to make sense of that episode too. So
And for new people too, if you're just getting into from, you're like, I'm not even on season 3. We might
mhm,
have to just do a revisit where we go back episode by episode, and do
mhm.
like little recaps without spoiling it, but then telling like something like that. So I don't know. We'll
Yes, because
figure it out.
I
We'll play
told
with it.
5 people, I remember 5 people exactly since last week they needed to watch from. And I was watching it. I was at a wrestling match on Sunday and I was watching it while I was watching the wrestling match. So people were like watching me watch the screen to watch them. And I was like, I'm recording too, guys. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. So yeah.
Fire, fire,
Yes.
that's fire. So that's it. That's all I got. That's all Dora's got. Then we will have to tap in with y'all tomorrow
Tomorrow.
night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, Peace.
Yes.